Hey everyone, I'm Linda Cuccia. I'm so excited to share tonight a little bit about my story. So as you're just looking at the photographs of the reverse regimen, that is actually how I started my journey with Rodan+Fields. So I was 46 years old, and of course I had never taken good care of my skin. I had sun damage, fine lines, dark spots, uneven skin tone, and I was just generally unhappy with what I saw in the mirror at 46. And I thought, man, I wish I had taken better care of my skin before now. I started using the reverse regimen and fell in love. And I began sharing, because that's what we do. When we fall in love with something, we tell others about it. Not only did I love the results I was seeing in my face, but I also loved using the regimen. I loved how it smelled, how it felt. I loved the feeling of taking care of my skin for the first time. And when I began to see dramatic difference, I posted those results online and said, you all have to try Rodan+Fields. This stuff is awesome. I was not a consultant. Okay, that just goes to show you how much business sense I had. When I was approached about the business, I said, no, there's no way. I'm a high school teacher, full-time. My heart and soul is in teaching. So I don't have time to start a skincare business, and plus that's not where my heart is. Skincare is not where my heart is. At the time I was too busy to even think about running a business. I had a teenage son that I was raising all by myself. I was teaching fitness classes at night to make ends meet, to keep things afloat over here. And I was writing for 2 local magazines and publishing my first book while training for a marathon. So I had a lot going on, and learning how to run a skincare business was not in my mind. However, when my child became a junior and he needed to drive, and he started pressuring me and saying, Mom, what am I going to drive? Look at what this guy's got. Look at what that guy's got. I started to think, oh my goodness, like, how am I going to do this? How does anybody do it? How does anybody afford another vehicle and car insurance and college and senior year expenses? Like, I had no idea how I was going to make this work. So finally I put 2 and 2 together. I put together the idea that I loved these products and was sharing them anyway. And I started off with a very small goal. And my goal was $200 or $300 a month, and I could pay for car insurance. That's it. Just me and my kid. That was my why. My why was car insurance, to make a better life for my kid. And yes, I was scared. I didn't know where my first customer was going to come from. I had no sales experience, no business experience, and I'd never had any money. So I had no experience making or managing money. Okay, so I was the least likely person to succeed in Rodan+Fields. But I did have a pretty big why. I wanted my kid to be proud of what he drove to high school. So I jumped in with both feet. In my first month of business, I didn't just make enough to pay for car insurance. I made enough to pay my house note. And that's when everything changed for me. I began to see this opportunity not as just selling skincare to people who needed it to change their face and their confidence, which is a great reason in and of itself. But I began to realize how many people could benefit from the extra finances. How many people out there would be blessed if just their house note was removed from their monthly bills? And how much ease and how much pressure would be relieved with just that. And that's where I was in month 1. So I began to share the opportunity instead of the products and grow my team. In 1 year, I had matched my take-home teacher salary, and 3 years later, I signed my retirement papers, and I am now retired high school teacher. My child drove an absolutely gorgeous 4x4 F-150 to high school, by the way, so I'm very thankful for Rodan+Fields. He loves it too. He's my biggest fan and the biggest supporter of my business. But now I want to tell you guys something that's really true and really dear to my heart, because had I not taken this opportunity, I would not be retired right now. I would not be looking at the world from these lenses. I'm going to try not to cry, but it's because I just retired a few weeks ago. That's why I'm crying. But my future looks different now. Before, I would have taught until I was 65. I would have tried to squeeze my life into a retirement pension, which, by the way, is not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot here in Louisiana. And I would be looking at what I can afford, as opposed to now. Not only do I not have the tethers of reporting to work and having a dress code and having to live by somebody else's rules, I have 100% summertime freedom all the time. But now I'm looking at my future like, where do I want to live? Where do I want to go? What do I want to explore? It's a whole different lens through which to look at life. So you better believe I'm sharing this experience and this opportunity with everyone I come into contact with, because it's truly life-changing. And if it can change my life, it can absolutely change yours.